Hello, welcome everybody. It is Lazy Noof, and this is the start of a new series, basically called Mod the Week. So, in this series, what I'm going to do is every week I'm going to make a mod from start to finish. It might focus on things that I've talked about that week. It might be an idea that I've had. It might be something from the community, but we're going to make something together. We're going to watch me model it. Excuse me, get it in game, get it working, fix any issues, and hopefully publish it. They're going to be relatively small because I don't want these videos to last a ridiculous amount of time, but we're going to go through the entire process and either follow along or just be interested. So we're going to start off. I have an idea. So I've just done a video on fractures, a bit of a guide on fractures, um, saying the limit of fractures for a cube, for a 2.5 meter cube, is 15 fractures. Now I'm wondering if that's set in stone or if we can push that a bit. So what I'm going to do is just try and take the mickey a little bit on how many fractures we can do and just see what the game will let us get away with, because that's part of the fun of it as well. So I'm going to start off in Blender just by deleting everything, and I'm going to create myself a box with a Shift and A. So I get a cube, going to make it 2.5 meters. And what do I want for the outside? Um, what do I want for the outside? I kind of want, let's give it a really small bevel, just enough to dull the edges there. Yeah, so something like that. Excuse me. So just enough to dull the edges so you don't have an ugly thing. So remember, whenever you're modeling, 90-degree corners are horrible. If you have a look around you, you won't see a single 90-degree corner. There's always some kind of bevel or dullness to that surface that has a bit of light reflecting. So the same thing should be true in most of your models. There are, of course, areas where you wouldn't, but my rule, we don't want any 90-degree edges if we can help it. If it's something you're going to be up close and looking at, because it just doesn't look very nice. Now, I'm thinking let's make it like a kind of like a power up from like Mario or something. So it has like a question mark on there. Now we're going to be lazy and we're just going to make text um, a text generated question mark. Make a question mark. That is a horrible looking question mark. Let's change our font. Wingdings. Oh, I haven't used Wingdings in years. Anything interesting on here? Could just have like a really perplexing symbol on it, just to take the Mickey. What else we got? It's pretty much the same, isn't it? What's that? That's not a bad looking question mark, to be fair. We'll use that question mark. Why not? So we need to give it some mass. Well, we need to get the resolution down because these things spawn horrendously complex. You can look how curved it looks. So if we just knock this 12 down, you'll see it. There we go. So even at 1, it's not horrendous, but let's get it at like 3, right? And then let's get ourselves extrude a little bit. There we go. Now let's get ourselves a bevel on it. Luckily, there's a bevel tool kind of built in with it. Resolution, we want it really, really simple because we don't want it's going to horrendously increase our geometry. We really don't need it. Let's do 0.05. There we go. A really small bevel on it, just to give it that little bit of curve. Now, all we need to do is press F3 and convert to mesh. Thank you, context sensitive menu. And as you can see, it's not horrendous. How many has this got? Statistics. Okay, so it's got 968 triangles, and we're going to use 6 of them. So yeah, we'll get a couple of thousand. Let's get this rotated. 90 and 90. And of course, we just need to do put that on objects, origin to geometry, something like that. And then I might as well do objects, origin to 3D cursor, and then geometry to origin. And then we might as well scale this up about there. Bring this out. So we're going to kind of have a box that kind of looks like this. But before that, let us just give this a little bit of a trim and remove these faces. We pop that to there. There we go. And now we have our question mark sticking out of the box here. I also want to assign this its own color. Excuse me. Let's just make this blue. Let's call it. Do I call it question mark? I can call it question mark. And then if I go to that, it should be in blue. And while I'm at it, let's make a new material for this. Call it cube. There we go. Might as well make that yellow. And I like to colour these so I know for sure that materials are applied. The amount of times that I've accidentally misclicked, not hit assign and moved on is far too many. Right, so object set origin to 3D cursor. And now we basically want to duplicate it, rotate it, and we want to rotate it 90 degrees. It would help if it was like this, wouldn't it? $90, then Shift and R just to repeat last action, except I didn't. Right. Yeesh. Bear with me. Duplicate, rotate, 90, repeat. There we go. Let's just grab 2 of these, join them together, and then we want to just duplicate, and we want to rotate this way around. It's going to be 0 actually, isn't it? No, it's going to be 90. What am I on about? Oh, there's 0 on the X. Okay, so we have a question mark on every single side, and all is well. So we're just going to now select everything and join it all together. And we've got our chance cube. So we're going to call this our chance cube, and we're just going to shrink it down back to 2.5 since we've added a little bit on each side. But we still want to keep it to 2.5. Remember when you're designing stuff, Space Engineers 2 runs on a 2.5 square grid. So if you imagine these squares are each 2.5, they're not, they're a meter, but imagine they're 2.5. If when you load your mod in and it asks you to offset, that's because if you look, the center line is going right the way through the middle, but that's not how grids kind of work. Really, this would be the middle or one of these, so it actually does it like that basically, where you have a grid there. So if you're ever making something and you're having trouble aligning things, so if you're making like pipes, for example, and you're making it more than like 25 by 25, maybe you make like a 50 centimeter pipe. A 50 centimeter pipe straddles 2. So what happens is your pipe will be forced to one side, and you'll get really weird bounding box kind of issues. Because if your model goes over the boundary, suddenly it'll jump to the next I don't think I'm explaining that too well. It is a pain in the arse if you ever find out. But basically, keep to the 25 centimeter grid, multiples of 25, so 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, etc. And everything will basically line up for you. You can, of course, make mods that are differently shaped. Just keep in mind how things sort of interact with each other. And you can get weird issues with bounding boxes, things like that. So we have our box, and what I'm thinking is when you shoot it, it explodes in a shower of gold coins. That's what I'm thinking. So let's make a new collection. I'm going to put coins. How many coins is the question, because we want it to be dramatic and we want to take the piss a bit with the limits and just see what it'll let us do, because that's part of the fun of modding, is just seeing what happens. And it's making it. Let's just make some. Let's make something. Get ourselves a cylinder. This cylinder's actually 32, isn't it? I know I said I wanted to push it, but let's turn it down to like 18 at least. It's going to be quite small, right? We obviously need to get rid of the faces. And let's shrink that down. And so we want it to be something like this. Let's go. Just press forward space there to center on the object there. I mean, what I'd probably do if I was inclined to do something serious is I'd probably have this all as normal maps. However, for this and just this kind of messing around, just to see what will happen, we'll just make it from geometry. We're just going to mirror this so I don't have to bother modeling the other side of it. And we'll just apply that mirror, grab those, by distance removed, hit 2, X dissolve edges, and then just scale this down a little bit. So really, our coin needs to be 0.25 by 0.25. You might as well undo that now. Let's go back to here, give this a gold material. Gold. Should have colored the box yellow. Let's make this. We'll make it pink. Make it pink. Why not? Okay. So we have a coin now. This is going to default to 0.25 anyway. So, however, it's going to look pretty bad if we did that. So we're going to undo that, and we're going to make a cube, and we're going to make this 0.25, and we're going to bring it over here to this. We're just going to do that there. Let's go here. Let's switch on our snap mode there. Okay, would help if I set that to vertex. I normally have it set there. I don't know why it reset on me. Okay, that's that there. And then we just want to grab this. Let's grab another thing there. There we go. Happy days. So what we have now is a penny inside of a cube. I'm just going to delete these again. There's all those edges, I don't need them anymore, as well as that one. All edges. And what we're going to do is make this cube invisible. So we need to assign it a new material. We're going to call this invis. And this cube is colored gold. We're going to join these two together. And that's basically going to be the basis of our thing. Excuse me. So let's have a think about how I'm going to do this now. Is it? Was my maths wrong? It's 25 centimeters. I'm thinking it's 1,000 there. So it would be, yeah, it'd be 1,000 cubes. And what we do, let's see. Let's see if this will work. So let's select the cube. Let's go to, let's press 1. Let's grab that. And what I need to do is just Shift S, cursor to selected object, set origin to selected, well, to 3D cursor. So we've got our origin point in the corner. And then we want to go to scripting, new, let's pop this in here, let's run, and let's go back to modeling, and we have a cube. Let's look here. So each of those cubes has a coin in. As you can see, it's all laid them out there rather nicely. There is far too many. I do not think this is going to work. We'll probably have to make this bigger, but by God, I'm going to give it a go. Oh dear. Objects, set origin to geometry. I'm just going to manually move these because if I disorder them, it's not going to do well. Turn that off. So let's line it up because it doesn't have to be like mega exact, just exact enough. And I think we've done a pretty good job there. Ooh. Pop. So if we go over to the other side, it should be pretty much bang on there as well. which it is, and then we need to make sure it's all right in the other axis, which is slightly off. Okay, so that's pretty much bang on. Link. Now the question is it going to be pretty simple to, because I don't know if I can write a script that just automatically add rigid body to those. Um, let's see. Right. New collection. Call. Wait a minute, I can only have. I think it'll actually only let me do 15 groups, won't it? I think actually the V-Rage will only let me do 15. Fractures. Fractures list active index. Oh, is there a way to alter that? Um, Let's have a look and see what I can see. Quick bit of research. It won't take too long. Let's go on for a while. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording at this point and just have a quick look, and then I'll just resume it if there's anything I can do, basically.